All right. Welcome to another Tuesday motivation and conversation. I know I have to make sure everything is aligned um, so that I can keep up with what's happening. Let's see what we got going on. Okay, let me try this again. All right. It's a little slow on this other side. Happy Tuesday. I hope you've had an amazing day. Um, I want to continue in the series self-work framework, clarity conversation. So we're going to be having this conversation for some time. So there's so many pieces and parts. And so what I don't want to do is I don't want to rush through the process. So I want to continue in this vein, of course. Uh, Coach Bridget, as always, and I am always very conscious about the impact of the information that's shared here on this platform. And I want you to be able to get the full understanding of it. I want you to get clarity because that's important and that's key. And so it's important that we take our time and we walk through this information to make sure that we're getting a good handle on it. So, a couple of things that I want to definitely share with you before I get into it tonight. Um, this this year, 2025, of course, we had the pen to paper experience that happened just a week or so ago, coming up on 2 weeks now. Amazing, amazing event, phenomenal information. Did that with Coach Spence. I'm going to have him on this platform with me. Um, really, really soon, and have him to just really talk about some of the things that he shared in that particular experience. But not only that, he's going to be also a part of our quarterly events that are coming up. Listen, people have already started to register. These are going to be intimate events. So you don't want to wait and say, oh, I just get my space. I'm telling you, it's nothing like being in the room, number one. Now, there is a virtual option, but I want you to definitely. Invest in yourself and take the opportunity to be a part of these conversations because I'm telling you, it's nothing like being a part of an environment of like minds and like spirits. And they're talking the things that you need to hear. And it's you have the opportunity to fill gaps, to dot I's, to cross T's, and to get some clarity. When I tell you there was a participant that came into the pen to paper experience, did not have a clue as to a framework, a product suite, or anything, had an idea of what it was that they had a strength in, but did not have any framework, no structure, and left out of that event with a five category structure. I'm telling you, it is it's beyond explanation, and everybody gets it on their level. So I want to encourage you to be a part of the upcoming quarterly event that is going to be a continuation, quite frankly, of the strategies and things of that nature that were frameworks that we talked about. And so, what we want to be able to do is to help. We gave some really good bones, and what we want to be able to do is to help you to put the meat on the bones so that you can continue to build out what it is that you're doing and build it out with clarity and understanding and give you some strategies that are going to help you to do that most efficiently. So March 29th, you can go to the website bridgetmoody.com backslash or forward slash events, and you can get registered. Now there are two options. There is a $47 option, and then there's a $97 option. The $97 option comes with a coaching session, and it also comes with follow-up email support. And then the $47 option, of course, comes with email support, but it does not come with a coaching session. And I'm telling you, those coaching sessions from myself or Coach Spence are going to be most invaluable. And it's going to really help you to put this thing together for 2025. You want to be able to thrive in 2025. And so we want to do what we can to be a part of that impact. So go get registered. Registration is already open. People already started to grab those $97 spots. So they are not unlimited. So you want to make sure that you go ahead and grab yours because this we wanted to make affordable I want it to be affordable, but I also want to make sure that you're investing in yourself because that's what we have to do as business owners. Okay, so let's jump into it because I'm not going to be long tonight. Let's jump into it. So we've talked about the self-work framework, and so the self-work framework starts with self-reflection, right? From self-reflection, we have self-awareness. From self awareness, we get self knowledge. We're increasing our knowledge the more aware we become and the more we reflect. And a lot of the reasons why a lot of times we don't do this work is because it's work. So it's important that you take the opportunity to do your self reflection, your self awareness, and your self knowledge. And that gets us to self direction and then good self leadership. But I want to hang my hat tonight on the self reflection because this is where it starts. This is what helps us to get clarity in a few areas. And so I just want to talk about this briefly tonight, and then we'll go deeper. Because what I also want to ask you to do is, as you, whether you're watching me live tonight and you want to put questions in the chat, you definitely can do that. But I also want to encourage you when you watch the replay or you share it with someone, encourage them to place their questions or their comments in there because I want to have some type of measurement on, am I hitting the bar? Am I really, touching where you are? Am I in the ballpark? Am I on your street? Am I near your door? Am I ringing the doorbell? Where are we? Because I think it's so important. There's nothing like clarity. And so there are five areas that this self-reflection helps us to gain clarity in. Number one, clarity of purpose. What is that about? It helps us when we take the time to self-reflection. It helps us to really get clear about what our purpose is and where we need to focus. That's a piece all by itself. That's why I'm saying this is going to be, and the other thing about this, you guys, is that there's so much more to give you. There's so much more to share with you. And so when we do this Vision and Clarity Accelerator, March 29th, it's going to be a whole different level. I'm telling you, it is so much in this. And so I want to be able to kind of whet your appetite and get your palate wet and prepared, and so that you can really be open for what's going to be shared on March 29th. So the first area that it helps us with is clarity of purpose. Because when we self reflect, we tend to then go through the process of really figuring out what it is that you have a gift for. What do you have a passion for? Where is it that your heart really pumps and thrive? What's your heartbeat of what you do? And where is it that you have extreme focus? So clarity of purpose is one area that this self-reflection gets us to. Then the next area is that it gives us clarity of understanding. What is that? That's freedom from ambiguity. There's no chaos, there's no blurred lines. We have clear understanding. It can be totally, understood. I'm clear. I don't have any crosshairs. I'm not trying to figure out what side of the fence I'm on. I'm free from ambiguity. So that leads us to that next area, which is clarity of communication. It can easily be understood. One of the things that I like to really, pride myself on is breaking things down into a more agile function, waterfall, whatever they want to call it now. But it's project management of thoughts, processes, things, tasks, so forth and so on. But the easier you make it for a person to understand how to do it, the more effective a person can be, the more successful a person can be. And of course, everybody's approach is going to be different, and their level of engagement may be a little bit different, but the point of the matter is you can understand what to do and how to do it. And so sometimes we can go way up in the clouds and deep in the weeds. And when we get through going deep in the weeds and up in the clouds, and we come out of there, people don't understand what we said. And not only do they not understand what we have said, but neither do they understand what to do, and how to go about that and how to implement it. And so that part is so important. So when we communicate effectively, where people can easily understand, even a child can understand it, we have hit the mark. Then the fourth area that we get clarity in is clarity of conscience. And what is that about? That's about doing what is right without guilt or regret. So, whenever you're focused in your business and doing whatever it is that you're doing, it helps you to really, when your conscience is clear and you know you've done to the best of your ability what is right, and you've done what is right for yourself, you've done what is right for your client or your customer, I'm telling you, you're on the right path. And then that last area is it helps us to get clarity of vision, right? What is that end goal? What's the revelation, and how am I going to get to manifestation? I'm going to get to manifestation because I have sharp focus, right? That vision is really super, super clear. And when your vision gets super clear and you can see it, like you can reach out and touch it, oh my goodness, you have done some good self reflection and you've heightened your self awareness. So that self reflection also encompasses introspection, right? So I want to share a few things that may be helpful in helping you with this area of self reflection, because it is not the same for everybody, and sometimes it is difficult for people to really focus in that area and really be able to take the opportunity to hit those things head on and deal with them as they should, because at the end of the day, it's one of those things that causes um, it's one of those things that causes you to have to be reintroduced to trauma. You have to be reintroduced sometimes to triggers that cause the trauma. So there are a lot of different things that can happen when you self-reflect. However, it is in your best interest to do so. And so I want to just, share a few things, because some people may say, well, I don't even know how to do self-reflection, right? Um, but at the end of the day, it's going to be important to be brave enough to do it, because if you don't, you'll end up staying where you are, and that's what you don't want to do. So the first area is journaling. And here again, this can be different for different people, because what may be my thing or maybe the standard may not be yours. So think about the thing that would work best for you. And everybody has their own thing. So journaling, regularly writing things down, especially your thoughts, your feelings, your ideas. This helps you to process them and identify what patterns. It helps you to identify what your values are, because you'll see a pattern there. So though that in that pattern, there will be some values that you can determine that are being established, and it can help you to determine what your passions are. Just this past Sunday, Pastor Torrey was talking about, in the middle of his message, he gave this definition of thoughts, and the fact that he gave the scientific approach and element of thoughts, and how thoughts just don't appear. There's a whole concept to the construct of the thoughts that we have. It's a real thing, and it's a such thing as a thought life. That's a whole process that go into the thoughts that we have, which thusly gives us the feelings and the emotions that are established with uh, our everyday, flow, and how we, deal with people, how we have conversations. Um, how our ideas are established and determined. So this whole piece, the journaling is therapeutic, it's cathartic, and it really does help you, because sometimes there are things that you need to say, you want to say, that it's not the time to say it. You don't want to say it to that individual the way it's coming up, because it may come out a different way. So writing it down will help you to process those thoughts, those feelings, those emotions. And not only that, so when you do have the opportunity to have that conversation or to address that issue or concern, you have now processed it in a way that you can address it professionally, you can address it maturely, and it has a level of understanding that it thereby would not have had you just blurted it out, right? So that whole self-reflection, because it gives you the opportunity to say, okay, how do I really want to approach this? What is it that I really want to convey? And so that self-reflection can help you with that. This can be very, very beneficial for establishing the launching of something new, an idea that you're coming up with, starting a business, getting ready to write a book. Journaling is it's to me, it is one of the most effective tools that you can use. And so I definitely encourage it and I highly recommend it. Number two, meditation and mindfulness. Practicing mindfulness allows you to quiet the noise, the everyday life, all the stuff that's going on, and connect with your inner self. That is so important. And you know what I have learned, and here again, couple that with prayer. Bathe everything in prayer. That's always been my philosophy. Everything you need to bathe it in prayer. Wash it down real good with prayer, right? Soak it. I mean, really bathe it in prayer. And it's important. But leading yourself to that greater self-awareness and understanding of your own desires. That is going to be super, super, super important because that's going to really help you to really get to that next level and clear your thoughts, clear your mind, and taking that time to just really hear what the spirit is saying because that's important. And sometimes we're so busy talking all the time that we never stop to listen. How many times you get in your car and you don't turn on the radio, you don't turn on any music, you're not talking on the phone, and there are things that you hear very clearly in a still small voice. Why? Because you're quiet. You quieted the noise and you're open to hear and you're open to listen. It's important, and I'm telling you, it works. Try it, it works. Number 3, values assessment. When we do self-reflection and introspection, it increases the value of the assessment. Identifying our core values provides a framework for making decisions aligned with our authenticity of our own selves and what truly matters to us. Okay. That's why this self-work framework I think is so important. And even if you're doing, one piece of it a month, you may be doing self-reflection for a month, you may be doing it for 3 months. And then in that self-reflection, you figure out how aware you have become of other things that have bothered you or things that you have not dealt with or things that, when unaddressed or things you didn't confront or whatever the case may be, just through the self-reflection and introspection. You haven't even gotten to self-awareness yet. And so that's a whole nother piece. But then once you get there, it continues to increase your self-knowledge about who you are. And it's nothing better than knowing who you are, what your triggers are, what you can handle, what you can't, what's for you, what's not. It's going to help you to really make better decisions for yourself. So what does this ultimately do? It leads us to this fourth piece, strengths and weaknesses. It helps us to analyze where we're strong, where we're weak. Understanding our strengths and our weaknesses helps us to leverage our talents and it addresses areas for improvement. So we know and I always say this, maximize on your strengths, employ your weaknesses. Do the thing that you do well, and the thing that you don't, employ it. And that doesn't necessarily mean that you hire somebody all the time. In a lot of cases, you should. But in other cases, you're going to employ resources, or you're going to employ somebody else's opinion, or you're going to employ somebody else's ability to do a thing that you don't do well, right? So it helps you to identify those talents and address the areas for improvement, which contributes to a clear picture of your potential because you always want to know what your potential is. And so you have to keep showing up in this space and doing self-reflection and doing introspection. Why is that? Because every time you show up, your potential grows. You get better at who you are. You get better at what you're doing. And so that's the whole point of it. And so it helps you to really get to that next place. And so always want to be mindful, and take the time to walk through things. So here again, I'm gonna quickly kind of go over what I shared, but this is just the beginning of the breakdown. So here again, the self-work framework is self-reflection, self-awareness, self-knowledge, self-direction, and self-leadership. That's the self-work framework. The area that we focus on tonight was just self-reflection, and it helps us to gain clarity in 5 areas: clarity of purpose, which is our focus, clarity of understanding, which is freedom from ambiguity. And then number 3 is clarity of communication, making sure it's simplistic. It's easy for people to understand what we're saying, what we're talking about, where we're going. For clarity of conscience, we want to make sure that we're doing the right thing, and we want to do that without guilt or regret. Okay. And then number five, clarity of vision. We want to make sure that that focus is so sharp. We can see it so clearly that we can tangibly touch it spiritually, right? And then, of course, the results or some things to help you with your self reflection and introspection is journaling. Number one. Number two, meditation and mindfulness. Number three, value assessment. And number four, establishing what your strengths and your weaknesses are. So you want to do that. And of course, you can always pull a SWOT analysis, strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. And you can always do that quarterly and just kind of keep, up on where you are and what's happening with that. So there are a lot of different tools that you can utilize that will help you to actually determine where you are, um, with your strengths, with your weaknesses, how you're coming along, how you're progressing. But that's one tool to use. So take this information and just kind of chew on it because we have other pieces to go. We got self-awareness. We have a whole series on the clarity conversations and the self-work framework. And you can always go back to last week and then the one I did on New Year's Day this year that kind of set the tone for this whole series. And so you can go back and you can watch those and listen. I want to ask you, just to if this is being beneficial to you, if it's helping you to really process your thoughts and things of that nature, then share it with somebody. Just share the link and say, "Hey, check this out. Listen to it. I think this will be helpful for you." Because I'm telling you, in this time and in this season, we need to be super clear about who we are, and where we're going, and how we're going to get there. And so it's going to take us taking some time and just really doing some self work so that we can make sure that we're on the right track and we're doing the right thing in the right season at the right time. Okay, is that good? Well, listen, thank you so much. Thank you, Terriani, for joining tonight, stopping through. I hope it's been beneficial for you. And I'm going to ask, check in. And even if you can't be with me live, definitely make sure that you're watching the replays. They're here. I'm here on Tuesdays and just sharing this content. I think it's important, and I hope it's beneficial to other people. And sometimes I don't know just how that is, but I'll have people just reach out and say, "Hey, I was checking out, your platform on this particular topic, that or the other. It really blessed me." And so, just here again, just share it. If it's been a blessing to you and it's helping you to really process your thoughts and helping you to get clear. That's important. I'm telling you, it's nothing like being clear. And when you're really clear, I'm telling you, there are certain things that just cannot get by you because you're really clear about who you are. You're clear about where you're going. You're clear about what you're doing. Who you're doing it with, who you're doing it for, and you make decisions based on that. And it guides our directions, it guides our actions, and it guides our decisions. And so it's super important that we have clarity, right? So it's the Clarity Coach, Bridget Moody, and as always, it's a blessing to be able to share with you. And so next week we'll be back here, same time, same place, for some more clarity conversations on motivation and conversation. Listen, don't forget go get registered and make sure that you tap in. Now, there's another opportunity where you can get that hands-on. Um, assistance with whatever it is that you're working on. I am so excited for the vision room. The visionaries have been doing an amazing job. I'm telling you, we've been doing some personal developments. We kicked off 2025 with personal development. If that's you and you need help with your vision, you need clarity, you need that hands-on help, you need somebody to hold your hand and walk you through it. Put your frameworks together, put your structure together, help you to really get a plan of action to implement what you're doing and what you're trying to go in 2025. Join us in the vision room. A monthly subscription of only $49 a month. And I'm telling you, you get one-on-one coaching once a month. You get email support on a consistent basis. We have 2 live sessions per month, and you get the opportunity to work on that personal development and get the feedback and the coaching along to go along with it. So listen, you can't beat it with a stick. That's what grandma used to say. You can't beat it with a stick. So listen, I'd love to have you as a part of the Vision Room. BridgetMoody.com/mentoring, and you can get registered and subscribe today. All right. Well, I'm looking forward to seeing you next week right here on Tuesday, Motivation and Conversation.